JJ Sam is an independent hip-hop artist born and raised in the DMV area, and he's with us here just now. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm glad to be here, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great today as well. I'm also glad to have you on the show. Now, your newest track is called For the People. What's the basic premise behind that song, first of all?
Um, Self-explanatory. Just everything that's been going on, honestly, with police brutality and all the killings with George Floyd and Elijah and all the recent things, Dwayne Wright, everything that's been going on, and just really just trying to speak up for the people.
Yeah.
Because it's getting tiring just dealing with all this, and we just need to speak up and have a voice. So that's the main reason for that track.
And do you like to write about these kind of issues a lot?
um I like to write about them,
Yeah.
but I don't put them on. I don't release the tracks or anything like that, more because it is a touchy subject.
Yeah.
That you got other artists for that. But for me, I just have it down in my notepad, and I have things that I can release for it. But I'm just kind of just waiting for the right time to really just put them out. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, for your song For the People, how would you say itself is unique compared to, I guess there's been a lot of songs, particularly in this past year, about police brutality. Do you have your own interpretation on it in your song?
um I honestly feel like you just said, I agree with what you said. There's a lot of
Yeah.
tracks that speak on this.
Hmm.
So as far as like the that in general, like I think it's the same topic. What makes it unique is just the fact that I worked with Oswin Benjamin, who's also a great lyricist.
Yeah.
And we kind of just did it in a way where we spoke our verses in an aggression manner,
Hmm.
instead of it being more of a sentimental type track thing.
Yeah.
Just kind of like speaking like if we were to speak to a group of people
Yeah.
with a lot of aggression behind it. So I would say that.
Yeah, I guess because it makes you sound more angry, and I guess people are gonna listen to you more than if you were to just do it in a sentimental way.
Yeah, correct. And along with
Yeah.
the video kind of fits the narrative of it too, because if you listen to how we're speaking and then you watch the video,
Mm.
it can touch you. It
Yeah.
can really touch you and getting your feels about behind it. So
Mm.
with that combination, it's a touchy subject.
Yeah. And now that Derek Chauvin has been charged with murder and found guilty, does that give you any form of justice? Or I guess, there's still a lot of problems that need to be dealt with.
To be honest with you, the moment it happened, everybody was excited. I was
Yeah.
one of those people. I was excited. I was relieved. I was like, finally, we got justice for George Floyd,
Mm.
for sure. But then the next day, I think actually today,
Yeah.
another shooting happened.
Oh.
So it kind of puts things in perspective, where it's like, is it really justice if things are like this are going to keep happening
Yeah.
to our people?
Mm.
And like I said, the that one scenario, it felt good for the time being, but like you just said, I think
Yeah.
there's more to it. We
Mm.
we really still have to fix ourselves.
Yeah, because I guess they've only just found one bad apple guilty, and there's still a whole bunch out there.
Yes, exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Like,
Yeah.
it feels, again, there's not taking anything away from George Floyd and justice behind him.
Mm.
But like you said, there's a bunch of other cops out there that's still doing dirt, and
Yeah.
we need to figure out a way to get them off the street.
Absolutely. And you spoke just there about working with Oswin Benjamin. What made you decide to work with him?
Um, so quick story. I heard the track. I got the track sent to me, and I heard the track, and at first I was going to do it by myself,
Yeah.
just me on it, and but the track behind it, it just felt very like it was very impactful.
Mm.
And the only person I really heard I only heard him and another artist came to my mind immediately. So I sent the track to him, and he liked it, and bam, he did it, and that was just it. Because he's always making music behind rights like that, about
Yeah.
incidents like that. So yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's it like to work with somebody who has a similar vision, I suppose?
Um, it was for me, it was touching because honestly, when I sent the track to him, I didn't think he was gonna do it at first. To be honest with you. But he got back to me and said he's gonna get to it, and he did it. And when he sent it back to me, it was amazing. And to me, he's one of the best lyricists in the game. So
Yeah.
for him to get on the track and speak up for the people as well, that was enough for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how did you first start to make music in the first place when you were younger? What kick-started this fanatic thing?
It started because I've always been into entertainment.
Yeah.
I started out dancing as a kid, actually. But my brother, he made music when he was a teenager. He started making music and whatnot. But it was when I listened to Big L. Big L,
Yeah.
when I heard Big L, I instantly picked up the pen. Because it was just the reaction I got from Big L, listening to Big L. That's the reaction I wanted people to get from me, like
Yeah.
instantly. So when I heard him, I started studying Big L, and that's when I started. I just started writing and just started releasing.
Yeah. And was there anyone in your family as well that was also pretty musical or just encouraged you to go for it?
And my brother was the only one.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was the only one. The moment I told him I was going to do music, he was very supportive behind it.
Mm.
Um, but nobody else in my family is, I guess, music oriented. But even to this day, my brother, he's supportive behind me and whatnot, and he's definitely seen my progression from when I first started to right now. So yeah, that's a good feeling for me.
Yeah, and you spoke about how you were a bit of a dancer before you went musical. Has that helped you have more of a stage presence, I suppose, when you're performing?
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't get stage fright. If that, I don't know if that's a thing or not, but I don't get stage fright. For me, it's I guess the adrenaline kicking in me. I see it more of like an excitement thing.
Yeah.
So when I see a big crowd ready to see me, it's exciting for me. It's like I don't get nervous anything like that. Maybe in the future if I get to Madison Square Garden or something like that, I'll probably get nervous. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, but nothing crazy for me. But it's definitely helped me for sure.
Yeah. And sometimes it's good to be nervous, I suppose, because that means you care.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah. And do you have any musical influence as well in terms of well-known musicians that you feel have inspired you?
Yeah. Uh, J. Cole,
Ooh.
Kendrick Lamar. I would say uh Royce the 5'9", Eminem, Big L, Biggie, Tupac, especially Tupac because
Yeah.
he's really big on like the government and cops and police brutality. He's big on
Yeah.
that stuff too. So but yeah, I would definitely say Big L though, because Big L is actually my favorite rapper of all time. So
Mm.
he's a big influence on me. I always go back and study him.
Yeah.
But if you talk about today's generation, yeah, you got the people like J. Cole, Kendrick, and Eminem, and
Mm.
people like that, Nas, Kanye, and Jay-Z, and people like that. So
Yeah. Absolutely. And what is it about Big L that you like so much?
it was to me, it's just unique. He's like,
Yeah.
to me personally, I think he's the a perfect rapper.
Yeah.
In my eyes at least. He just did it all. Like from his storytelling, from his flow, from his punchlines, metaphors,
Mm.
and it was just like he was just unique to me. He's very gritty. When people listen to him, they kind of steer away from him just because how aggressive he is. But I like that, and
Yeah.
the shock factor I got from listening to him was just wow, and I was hooked on him immediately.
Mm. Yeah, for sure. So what helps you keep going? Do you have things that when you don't have the inspiration, you try and do to help you come up with stuff still?
Um, yeah, I will say, because there are times where I get my brain juices aren't flowing
Yeah.
correctly. So yeah, I would say sometimes that keeps me going is honestly my kids.
Mm.
I know that may sound cliche, but
Yeah.
they just knowing that they're in my presence and knowing that I got a future for them to build for them, I start just um seeing what else can I come up with. Because sometimes I don't even think about anything. I just don't
Mm.
think. I don't do anything. I just kind of just flow with life.
Yeah.
But then sometimes, like, I realize, like, man, I got my sons are right here, and
Yeah.
um, I gotta get going. I gotta get
Mm.
going again. And that's actually another reason why I push for the people. Because again, I got two boys,
Mm.
so when they get older, it's kind of scary that they're going to be out in this world.
Oh
So
yeah.
that made me write what I wrote.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it's kind of scary as a parent growing up in this world where things that we see on the news happen to people can happen to your own kids.
Yep.
Yeah. And how do your kids react to you being a musician? Do they like that?
Well, my youngest is he's 4 months, so he doesn't
All
really know
right,
what's going
okay.
on.
Yeah.
But my other one, he's at that stage. He just turned 3.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know what's going on just yet either, but he sees, because sometimes he goes in and tries to grab the mic and speak on the mic and stuff
Mm.
like that too. So but he knows when it's time for me to go to work. He doesn't bother me or anything like that, unless I let him come in there and just say a couple words or something like that. But
Yeah.
as far as my family, my immediate family, my kids and my wife,
Mm.
they're supportive, and they know that this is what I love to do, and I'm trying to progress in it. So I'm glad that they understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I take it you have probably spent a little bit more time at home over this past year, so I guess have they been around the music a lot more?
Oh yes, for sure.
Mm.
That's yeah. Because at first, before all this happened, before COVID and all this happened, I was actually going somewhere to record and whatnot.
Yeah.
But once COVID did hit, I actually invested in my own equipment.
Yeah.
Because obviously I knew I was going to be in the house for however long. So I took advantage of it. I
Mm.
started writing and I started making my own music at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it only made sense if we couldn't go anywhere, and I didn't want to just be sitting up not being able to record because of COVID. So I was
Yeah.
like, I need to get my own stuff because I want to keep going. So yeah, I've been around it a lot,
Mm.
just constantly writing.
Yeah, absolutely. And buying your own equipment and using it, did you have to kind of learn that as you went, or were you already kind of technically knowledged?
Um, I I kind of knew what to do.
Yeah.
But when it got in front of me, I had to. Obviously, it took me a little minute to adjust to it. I had to ask a couple people, like, well, why does it sound like this? Why does it sound like that? And maybe even YouTube a couple things. But
Yeah.
after a while, obviously I got used to it, and it's nothing to me now to do what I got to do, adjust and do this and that. If I know something doesn't sound right, I know what to fix and this and that. So I mean, yeah,
Mm.
when I first started, it wasn't too bad. But I had to play around with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess after a year, it's probably got to a stage where you know what you're doing.
Right, right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, way much. And I just felt like it was more convenient for me to stop trying to schedule around other people.
Yeah.
I would say I could come at this time, but they couldn't record me because they had somebody else or they weren't home or something.
Mm.
So just kind of it got annoying after a while. So I was like, I'm just gonna get my own stuff because I'm tired of scheduling around other people's time.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you hopeful that sometime soon we might be able to be back doing live performances and maybe, I don't know, would you want to go back to the actual studio?
Um, yeah, I do for sure. I
Yeah.
think it just depends on, I guess, what's going on at the time and like
Yeah.
who I'm working with or whatever the case may be. Right now, if I'm working on something solo, of course, I just stick to where I'm at. But if it's something like a bigger project or a bigger song, then of course I may go and, branch out and work with somebody else in the studio or whatnot. I definitely don't mind that. I'm not gonna, just stick to staying in the house forever. It's okay to step out every now and then and just work with other people too. So definitely.
And being an independent artist as well, do you find that it's harder to be discovered by people in any way?
Yes. And that's an immediate yes. Especially when you're just starting to like really get in the groove of things. Because when you're independent, you literally have to do everything on your own. You gotta, record, mix, or pay somebody to mix, or you mix videos, pay to market. You literally have to do it unless you have a team behind you on your own, independently, that can really like do things separately. It does make things difficult because when you're with the label, they're literally in front of you doing pretty much the hard work. You're just making the music. And when you're independent, it's manual labor. You got to do everything on your own. It definitely, it's a handful and it's frustrating for sure. But I'm down for the ride, and just, I understand that it's going to take a little bit. So I'm down to just keep being consistent, and, hopefully something gives sooner or later.
Oh yeah. So I guess, are you hopeful that a label might pick you up then?
Nah. I'm strictly going to stay independent. I wouldn't say I was never a fan of a label, but the more knowledge I learn about the industry, it's just best to be independent. With the rights to your own things and things like that, and not having to be pushed to do things that you don't want to do or change your sound or whatever the case may be. I want to stick to what I know best and my own sound and things like that. So it'd be a good look for myself if somebody did contact me and say, hey, we want to sign you. But I think me staying independent is where I want to stay.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of famous musicians always seem to end up in some lawsuit with their labels after a while.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the other reasons, because after a while they're holding things back from you, and they they have, you can't release things at certain times, and it's so much going on with labels that I honestly don't even see why people still sign with them. I mean, besides the fact that you're getting more exposure, that's fine. But I think if you really want to like stay humble within yourself and not having to like, I guess sell your soul like most people would say, then, just stay true to who you are, and just, do it on your own and show people that you don't need them. Anything a record label can do, you can do it on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, where are we able to check out your music if we want to have a listen to it?
You can check out my music at on YouTube. Ooh. YouTube, that's where all my most recent things are, on YouTube. Just type in JJ Sam, and you'll see me. You'll see my tracks. My most recent track with Oswin Benjamin, for the people. You'll see that, and just click on my profile there. I mean, SoundCloud too, but I don't really. I keep forgetting about SoundCloud, honestly. But most of my most recent work is on YouTube.
Yeah. And are you on any kind of social media as well, or have a website where we can keep up to date with your projects?
Yes. I am. You could catch me on Instagram at I am JJ Sam. And I've did my own research. I felt like if you type in JJ Sam almost anywhere, I will pop up. Facebook too. You'll see my face pop up. I'm on Facebook too, and Twitter. Twitter's I am JJ Sam too. So
nice. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. It's been great having you on.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you, man.